The Marty Party with us on the Johnston RVCenter.com hotline. What's up, Marty? How are you?
I'm absolutely spectacular, gentlemen. I hope you are. I hope you've recovered from the experience in Indianapolis. How was y'all's experience in Indianapolis?
That's enough for a book.
Cold?
Yeah, very cold.
Cold. I did like that stadium, though. I'd never been in the stadium. I thought it was a really cool stadium.
Yeah, the stadium was awesome, Marty. And, we'd heard so many great things about Indy. You can walk everywhere, but you were there. I mean, it was freezing.
Well, for guys like us who, when it gets below, 60 degrees, we've had enough of it. Landing and it was like 6 degrees or 7 degrees, I think, the evening that I arrived. I don't want to be anywhere near outside.
Yep.
And fortunately, they do have from an infrastructure perspective, they have all these bridges and whatnot to get you from building to building where if you're adventurous and hate the cold like us, you don't have to go out in it. And I was grateful for that. But it was an awesome game, phenomenal football game. And I'm sure that y'all talked about it ad nauseum over the last 6 or 8 days. Georgia deserved to win that game. They made more plays, and when J-Mo got hurt, they couldn't take the top off that defense anymore. And those young receivers are not Jamison Williams yet.
Yep.
So the better team won on last Monday night.
Yeah, they did, and in the celebration on Saturday was really something with snow bearing down on the south. The fans turned out for 92,000 inside Sanford Stadium, Vince Dooley Field over there. They lined the streets. It was a celebration. The problem, Marty, and we've experienced this in our state too, it never feels like the first one again. If you could bottle that up and save that, we'd all be rich, right? I mean, it'll never feel like that again for Georgia fans if they win it again within the next 41 years. It just won't feel that way.
No, because you're talking about generational, or multi-generational in some cases, where people have lived their entire lives who are 40 years old prior to 8 evenings ago, had never seen their favorite team and their passion and their identity reach the tip of the spear. And not only that, they've also, they're used to winning in Athens. They've won a ton of games. Mark Richt had a tremendous career there. And then Kirby shows up and recruiting goes to another level, and thereby expectation goes to another level. They perform extremely well, beat who they're supposed to beat, have Bama on the ropes, as we know, and ultimately don't win that game. And so you're compounding the fact that they haven't won it with heartbreak, which is a whole other level of anticipation. And so I'm thrilled for those folks, and quite frankly, I'm thrilled for a lot of those young men. I did extensive features this year on Jordan Davis, on Zamir White, on Stetson Bennett. Sat down with N'Kobe Dean, did an extensive feature on Kirby Smart back in Bainbridge, Georgia, where he grew up. So I was around that program a lot, and I'll tell you, much like I feel about Alabama, the quality of the young people that are putting on that G it's elite. They are great young men, and it's nice to see nice people achieve like that. So. What I would love to know from you guys, and maybe what your listeners and viewers are feeling, I've actually talked to a couple of coaches who feel like that was Coach Saban's best coaching job. Because if you ask around Tuscaloosa, this was not the year that they were supposed to do this. Everybody was pointing to next season. And so a lot of people are extremely impressed with what Coach Saban did with this year's team, despite the fact that they didn't win the Natty.
I did think one of the best secondary stories was Stetson Bennett. I mean, and you said that you did a story on him. Stetson Bennett away from the microphone, what is that kid like?
Extremely thoughtful. Where I'm the most taken with his approach is that he lives with a chip on his shoulder, as you could imagine, and respect and understand, but he doesn't let that chip cloud his preparation or his worldview. He's taken other people's disbelief in his ability and repurposed that as fuel to maximize his ability. And I admire the hell out of that because I live my life that way too. Even though my blessings are very rich, I know, like I got lists of folks who did not believe in me years ago. And so that's kind of how Stetson operates. And we all know that his life story is a movie script. You got to be one dogged, self-confident cat to live the path that he's lived. And one thing he said to me when I was down there interviewing him, and I forget when it was exactly, guys. It might have been, it was around mid-season, maybe before they played Kentucky. I forget when it was, but around mid-season, I think. And I asked him about the pressure of being the Georgia quarterback when you have 4 decades of anticipation and expectation to win the national championship. And I loved what he said. He said, man, I can't look at it like that. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. Last year when I assumed the job as the starting quarterback at Georgia, I'm kind of riding around in my car looking around going, hell yeah, I'm the starting quarterback at Georgia. That's pretty cool. But then all of a sudden, if you start to think about the magnitude of the millions of fans who are counting on you to succeed, it becomes overwhelming. It becomes so broad and so deep that it overwhelms you. And so he said, I had to refocus myself and repurpose my drive to 2 things. Can you complete passes and can you win football games? That's the job. And that's what he did in nearly every game this season. And I also found this statement to be the most telling. I know that if you look at me on paper, I'm talking about what Stetson Bennett said to me here. If you look at me on paper, you're not going to pick me out of a lineup with some of these other guys in college football. They're bigger, they're stronger, they got a better arm strength, all of that. But I just walk out on the field believing I'm the best one of them all. I walk out on the field thinking I'm the best player there. And that's just a special approach, man, and I appreciate that approach.
So a few years from now, when you're in Athens and you order a Stetson or a Stetson Bennett, is it a drink or is it a burger?
Well, it's a drink because I saw that boy. I saw some photographic evidence of him pulling off some Pappy 15 after he won that championship.
Yeah.
Listen, he didn't go for any bottom shelf whiskey. He went straight to the top, buddy.
Pappy 15? Is that what he had?
Oh yeah, he was.
I mean, that's what he had in his hand.
Yeah,
It was a bottle of Pappy.
He had a blazer on and he was drinking it out of the bottle.
Bottle of Pappy. Marty Smith is with us on the
if they're giving it to you, take it.
on,
Right?
on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. If you look back in the totality, not just the championship game, but the totality of the 2021 season, the Marty Smith greatest moment of the season is what?
The Marty Smith greatest moment of the
greatest moment you experienced.
Let me think. Just give me 1 second.
I mean, honest to goodness, I would enjoy that much more than I would the Herbies. No knock on Herbies, but I'd love you to have a show called the Martys.
The Martys.
That would be funny. And
yeah, this could be on field, off field, something you experienced during Marty and McGee.
by the way,
whatever.
Stetson Bennett pulling the Pappy down, name, image, and likeness. NIL for him is name, image, and liquor at that point, right? I like that.
Listen, again, if somebody puts that bottle in front of you, you grab it with haste.
Yes.
With great haste, and you swill as much and as quickly as possible. This season was amazing for me on a lot of levels. The fact that McGee and I got to go on the road and we got to be immersed in campus life the way that we were, and the fact that ESPN believes in what we're doing and the coaches enjoy it so much, and so many unique guests came on. Like, one of those moments, this was the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was just at the national championship there when Jeff Foxworthy. So let's back up to the SEC championship. I was running from one live shot to another, and I hear my name in the hallway at the Atlanta, I guess, Convention Center, maybe, whatever.
The World Congress Center.
World Congress Center. And I hear my name, and I turn and wave and say, "How y'all doing?" And I was going to continue on my way. and the mask comes down, and the guy goes, "Jeff Foxworthy," and I went, "Wait a minute." So I turned around and ran back to him and shook his hand and met his brother and all his buddies and management. And he was like, "Dude, I love y'all's show. I watch it religiously, and we're speaking to the same group of people. We got the same demo." He goes, "Man, if there's any way we could ever collaborate on something." And I'm sitting, it turns into like the Peanuts teacher, because I'm like, Jeff Foxworthy? Jeff Foxworthy knows my name and what I do? What in the world is going on? And so we had asked him to join our show when we were doing the semifinal program. And fortunately, he was not available because he was with his family, I think skiing or something, for New Year's. But McGee was at the Cotton Bowl. I was at the Orange Bowl. The show was a train derailment anyway. So Foxworthy came to the national championship, sat on our set, read a hillbilly headline from Georgia, naturally, about an old boy who pulled out his .22 trying to shoot an armadillo. And the bullet bounced off the armadillo, went through his mother-in-law's double wide, through his mother-in-law's recliner in which she was sitting, and hit his mother-in-law. And we couldn't breathe. Jeff Foxworthy reading a hillbilly headline on Marty and McGee is time-space continuum level dynamic. So that, I don't know, man.
That's the answer I was looking for. Yeah. I'd far prefer that answer over some play in a game.
And you'll be shocked to know, Marty, Rockstar does a really good Jeff Foxworthy.
Let me hear it. Go.
Think the Nutcracker was something you did off the high dive.
You are
just might be a redneck.
I love Blue Collar Comedy Tour. That Blue Collar Comedy Tour, those dudes were, I was asking Foxworthy what it was like to try as hard as you can to stay, just be normal.
Yep.
Just be a good old boy from Georgia when what you really are is globally renowned. And how do you do that? And he goes, "Man, I just did my best to keep it normal." But you can't. I mean, when you're that famous, it's impossible.
Yeah, I like the guy that sipped whiskey, the older guy. What was his name?
Ron White.
Ron White.
Oh, he owned me, man. I loved that guy. Yeah.
It was hilarious.
We've asked this question many times on the show. Would you dress like Larry the Cable Guy? Because he was not, he's
always in character.
He created this character, and he now has to stay in it, but he's made bundles doing it, Marty. Could you do that, you think?
So are you asking me if I started dressing like him when it blew up, or if I?
Well, that's what happened to him. Is he started that? He created that character and started dressing with a sleeveless shirt and the hat with a fishhook on it, and that character blew up. So now he's got to stay in that character the rest of his life.
Like Pee Wee Herman.
Well, but there's beauty in the fact that he created that character, because I bet y'all he can go to the Walmart in a different outfit and nobody notices.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like church. Yeah. It's like church wearing the shades. Eric can go anywhere he wants, basically, if he doesn't have on his shades, and he can be completely anonymous.
That's right.
And there's a lot of beauty in that for people that get that famous. The thing that's funny about Larry is his name is Dan, and he's from Nebraska. You talk about hitting a home run, man.
Yeah,
that's true.
Some people think Marty, though, is in character, and he sits around and sips Burgundy or something.
Burgundy,
just the color is a good
brandy,
not Burgundy.
Love me some Burgundy.
Was that like Bordeaux?
Yeah. I was mixing it all together.
All mixed up in one. Yeah.
I was trying to think of something fancy you would sip.
All right, he is Marty Smith. Go follow him on Twitter at Marty Smith ESPN. See him on Marty and McGee, back live every Saturday on the SEC Network. And go get his book, Never Settle, as well. Marty, thank you for the time. It's always fun.
Redneck Royalty gets inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame Friday night, y'all. Junior!
Will you be there? Are you doing the speech?
I'll absolutely be there. I am not doing any speeches, but I am involved in a very distinct way.
Ooh, interesting. Little tease.
Yeah.
Does Richard Childress, does he say something? Who ends up being the main speaker?
Know.
You don't know?
I don't know who that is, but like it's just, when you look at the all-encompassing impact of Dale's career, it's remarkable because there's so much weight that comes with that name. And then that weight is compounded when Elvis died in turn 4 at Daytona. And it's remarkable what he did, and I'm thrilled for him that he's going to have this moment.
Really cool. So that's coming up this weekend, Junior in the Hall of Fame. All right, Marty, enjoy that, buddy. We appreciate the time.
Thank you. Cheers, my friends.
All right, buddy. Take care. Marty Smith with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.